Good morning, Laguna Woods. It's Tuesday, and I'm so glad that you tuned in. Really excited about today's show. I am because one of my new friends is Pastor Leland Lantz. And Leland is a pastor at Lutheran Church of the Cross. I got to know you over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But our churches have partnered together for some time, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But today, I really wanted to get to know you, and more importantly, the people of Laguna Woods to get to know you. So, Leland, let's start with this because you have a verse that's important in your life.
2 Corinthians 5:17 has sort of been my theme verse for many years. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone, and the new has come. That's paraphrasing maybe a little bit, but that's how I think of it every day.
For years and years, that was my wife's favorite verse.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, well, for her and me too, really. But it says it's kind of like a fresh start. Or why did you choose that?
Well, I like it because I guess the God's calling on my life was always like it's a daily thing. It's not just a once-a-time thing. It's every day. So when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I'm a new creation today, and I'm here, Lord, whatever you want me to do today, you set the agenda. Because personally, I would always want to set my own agenda, and so it's nice.
Did you pray that this morning?
Of course I did.
Okay, because here you are.
I'm here.
Well, I'm glad your day went this way today.
Yeah.
But Leland, how did you get to this point? I mean, did you, as a little kid, say, I sure hope I grow up to be a pastor?
Nope.
I figured as much. But tell us a little about your story.
I'll give you a short rendition of my life. But I grew up in a little town in Iowa. It's called Stanton, Iowa. It's way down the southwest corner. 750 people, and we have. It was a Lutheran Swedish community.
Oh.
So pretty much everybody in my hometown was Swedish, and they all went to church every Sunday. It was just the way it was. I grew up on a farm, and farm life taught me a lot of work ethic.
I'll bet it did. What kind of farm? What were you raising?
We raised cows and pigs, and when I was real little, chickens.
Livestock.
Sheep, yeah, and then corn, soybeans, alfalfa. Those are the main crops really across Iowa.
Wow. Well, that's just for my interest because I
Yep.
was not from the farm, and I get fascinated by those who are.
Yeah. There's a lot of farm analogies in the Bible, too, and so that's always... So if you go to our church, you'll sometimes, when I preach, the thing is I have a farm story. I think I've told every farm story I even can think of, but...
I love farm stories, so that's good, that's good.
But, I grew up in this wonderful, homogenous community, and where the village raised the children. You couldn't get in trouble because everybody knew everybody's business. I'm old enough that goes way back to the party lines, dial phones.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
party
of course,
lines,
we all.
So there's 5 or 6 of us.
Most of your audience relates to that, so I'm not sure. That's you're in good company there.
Yep, I grew up with that. And so I grew up on the farm. I was in 4-H and Future Farmers of America, FFA, and I thought I was going to be a farmer. And then I had my first love that I had was music. My hometown and my church, Mamerland Lutheran Church, had a big choir. In this little town, I had about 60 people in the choir.
Yeah.
We'd do a concert at Christmas and a concert at Easter, and then sing all throughout the year. And so I had a real love for music and choir music and piano and organ, and I played trombone.
So you grew up in the church.
Yes.
Was your faith always strong?
It was. There was a point, though, in my journey where I totally was upset with God, and I really thought God did not exist. I'll share that real quick. Anyway, my parents both taught Sunday school, so we didn't miss church. We had to milk, cows and do 2 hours of chores every Sunday morning before we went to church. And so I grew up believing the whole time. And when I was in high school, my best friend, he got cancer. And that year that before he died, I was praying every night that he would be healed, my friend David, and he was not healed. And so he got worse and worse and worse. And I was always sad because I didn't go to see him as much as I wanted to in the summertime. We were busy, and I was mad at God. And anyway, through that struggle, then the people around me came alongside of me and witnessed, and then I, came back to the faith, rather quickly. But it was a point in my life, and I think God allowed me to have that experience so that now today as a pastor, I can relate to people that are praying for things that don't get answers, and I know what that feels like. I've
Yes.
been there.
Well, every experience that we have helps us to relate to people that are going through that, and
Yes.
that's certainly one of them there.
Yeah.
So, how did you? Well, let's jump ahead.
Oh, yeah.
You're here in Laguna Woods area ministry
Yeah.
at Lutheran Church of the Cross, and is this the first place you pastored, or?
Yes, I'm a
Oh,
little bit of an anomaly in the Lutheran background because usually you move around every so many years. That's pretty natural. And so this has been my first call.
okay.
And then so I've been at the church now since June of '97. And so
20 years.
20 some years now, 20.
Yes, over 20 years.
Yeah, I think I'm going on 23 years now. And yeah, I was a music teacher out of college. I taught music first for 8 years, taught in Iowa for 5, 3 years in Springfield, Missouri, and then that's where I felt the calling to go to seminary, Luther Seminary in St. Paul, Minnesota, for 4 years, and then I got this call from a pastor, Bill Bartlett, from Lutheran Church of the Cross, and he said that the intern pastor they had that was a friend of mine suggested they would call me as an associate pastor. And so we came out and visited California in March, and it was the coldest winter in record so far in Minnesota.
The only thing is, Leland, you're coming from Minneapolis. It wasn't as cold here.
No.
I don't care if it's our coldest ever. Anyway, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
So, so now you're the pastor out here, and what's it like being? What's the blessings and the challenges?
Okay, the blessings to me is I just love people. I'm a shepherd type pastor. I don't feel I'm gifted at preaching or even teaching. I do it and I love it, but I don't feel that's my first calling. I think is to people. I grew up around elderly people. My uncle was in the nursing home almost
Yes.
all of his life, so I was visiting him every Sunday with my parents. So going into nursing homes and hospitals and stuff, that doesn't bother me at all. It's just natural. I love people. I've always loved older people. I love hearing stories. I like to hear about the history of them. So that's a blessing for me. If I could have my cat's meow would just be to be a visitation pastor and go around and visit people and bring them communion and visit them in their homes. I love doing that.
Leland, I just applaud the Lord for putting you into this place and this,
Yeah.
because that type of ministry is so appreciated here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I've known, even before I met you, I had heard what a blessing you are in people's lives. And I'm sure that a lot of what you just said is the why.
Yeah.
Because they totally want, need, and appreciate that. I came across a verse that I wanted to share. And we're gonna close with this. But in Micah chapter 6, verse 8, it says, "What does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." That's what Leland has really just described. Folks, being a pastor, and I know you agree, because it's just a different role. Every one of us, that's what God asks, is just that we walk with Him. Hey, Laguna Woods, thanks for tuning in. Leo's going to be back with us tomorrow. See you then.